Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to another episode of Trend Digest. My name is Nanebo, of course, with Double H at the back, and I am here with Awuche. This episode of Trend Digest is powered by Earth Dreams Entertainment. So, make we get straight into Awuche. Maybe I'm go. And is here the more back to back. But then, how are you feeling today? This morning, what to say?
I'm angry.
Ubofu.
Yes.
I'm very angry.
No, you see, it's very disheartening to see leaders which we went to kill on 7th December. Leaders whom we thought they are going to or they are supposed to be our bill makers or our lawmakers. Disregard the authority, the power we vested in them. The neglect for their responsibility, because they are responsible for making laws or making bills. That is the responsibility of Parliament. These are lawmakers. And when these lawmakers flaunt their own laws which they create, they disregard it so much, it is disheartening. And the trust we put in them as the ordinary Ghanaian, they have insulted us to the highest order. They have made us know that indeed, not just as some of the parliamentarians silly, but we are also silly. And when I say silly, silly is an adjective which describes the character some of our parliamentarians keep on putting up in parliament. When we say silly, it is an adjective. Let me explain silly very well. And everybody watching this video would side with me that some of the parliamentarians are silly. Just as Madam Headcastle or something said. When we say silly, it is an adjective which describes somebody's attitude for being ridiculous, for being upset. If you are a parliamentarian and you go to parliament and you vandalize state property, you are silly. If you are a parliamentarian and you stand in parliament and you tell your fellow parliamentarians that make them destroy table, you are silly. Whoever you are extremely silly, very silly, more than silly. It doesn't make sense.
So, as I can maybe say, walk straight to it, but then people might not even know where we are coming from because before to was as I was starting with a low tone, shoulder tone, you have to say we are getting straight into the topic, but I think that what he has said, is giving you an idea. Who media, and so that you probably have an idea. So, in the Parliament House, where the vetting is ongoing, we saw videos online that our parliamentarians during the vetting, ebimu kasa anyhow, ebimu edidi omo ho atem, a lot of things. Who media, so you've probably seen some of the videos I course honum and yetifie ye hwe TV a ebi ho ane say mpemfo na omo ho a omo abehye brama ye no omo te ba bi e de ama omo no eko omo kasa anyhow. They are insulting themselves, they are doing things that we didn't expect them to do on there, and this has triggered a lot of people on the media, media, and so they are talking about it. Everyone, in fact almost everyone who has seen the video online is saying like, why are they? So that is what we have for you today, and then I will tell you or the able room na ya prince mu just as we do always for you. I will tell I feel the young man kasa
Nana, so vetting no, we know before the vetting or before the day commences, we know the number of people we are going to vet in the day. So these people are giving letters, or whoever is going to be vetted is giving a letter that on this date, at this time, we are going to vet you. So yesterday, originally, 8 people were supposed to be vetted. After I have vetting one candidate. Parliamentarians, they say, Ebimose Omabre, they are not going to carry on with the vetting. Okay. Mamim Bongrem, a day into the between my parliamentarian, Akasa Wabre. Bia, you have started vetting in them. Bia, vetting also started and you boost unnecessary questions. Side delay, be money at the other. These are some of the reasons why parliamentarians can claim they are tired. But you see, before CBS started, weeks before and a week before at least, everybody is made to know data you be vetting. So one thing which happens is the people who are to be vetted, they invite family and friends. So I am going to cite an example. So today you see, people are making the analysis without looking at value for money. There is no value proposition for money. And I'm going to start the analysis from that point. And I'll start with a typical example, the vetting of Dr. Frank Amoakohene. It was early on scheduled for a Friday. Then it was rescheduled a day before. A day before the vetting, it was rescheduled to a Tuesday. Then again, it was rescheduled from the Tuesday to a Monday. You see, if Dr. Frank Amoakohene has invited family and friends over, then it means these people are not going to arrive on the day of the vetting, but most of them, depending on their geographical location, would want or would have to come earlier. And when these people come, they are going to book hotels. When these people come, they are going to feed and all these things. So when the rescheduling of vetting happened for Dr. Amoakohene, I can tell you for a fact that Dr. Amoakohene had some family and friends already in Accra. Me, I was on the verge of moving from Kumasi when the call came. And I had somebody who had moved from Sunyani to Kumasi for us to move from Kumasi to Accra. This person had already taken leave from work. So when it happened that way, this person has been disappointed. Now the person cannot go back to Sunyani, neither can the person go to Accra. What is going to happen? So the person's leave days elapse without the person being able to go and support Dr. Frank Amoakohene. So I'll say for point number one, I am so much disappointed in the committee which is carrying out the vet. So far, they have not been so much prompt with the vetting times and dates. Even with Dr. Frank Amoakohene being vetted on Monday, we were told that his vetting was going to be at 1 p.m. But his vetting started somewhere around 3:30 p.m. So again, there was disregard for time.
Okay.
So let's come to yesterday's own. Honorable Okujeto Ablokwa. If at any point in time there was going to be a rescheduling of his vetting, he should have been prompted earlier. Even if it is the prompt comes early, what is the value proposition for the people who have wasted time and money? Are we going to find a way to reinvest them on the money they have, let's say, wasted and all that? No. So I am first of all disappointed in the committee for how they have done with their scheduling. That being said, let me move away from that and move into one of the main nitty-gritties of the reason why the vetting could not come off. The main reason why was the vetting of Honorable Sam Jatta. The reason being that one person, Honorable Sam Jatta, was being vetted for 5 hours, 2 minutes. When you know you have a chunk of people after Sam Jatta, you don't spend 5 hours and 2 minutes on one candidate. So then again, I come back to the vetting committee. Is there a specified period of time being allocated to the vetting of each candidate? If you are scheduling 8 people to be vetted on a particular day, then it means you should allocate time for them so that you know that within the day, these 8 candidates can be vetted within the specified period of time. Do they do that? Or they just allow for people to come and sit, and if somebody is vetted for 2 minutes, we are okay with that. But if somebody is vetted for 10 hours, we are again okay with that. If that is the situation, then it means if you schedule 5 people, there is the possibility that these vetting committee members would end up telling you that I am tired. I am not going to be able to vet the last candidate or to vet the last 2 candidates. In football has metamorphosed from a point where there was so many things which have been changed. Let me cite a typical example. You see now, when a footballer scores a goal and takes off the jersey, a yellow card is being shown to the footballer. Back in the days when football started, that wasn't a rule. But there was a time a player scored a goal and he was jubilating, taking off the jersey, and the game kick started. This guy came onto the park, or the bare chest, or the national ball. So the governing body saw that no, this cannot be allowed. It is known that there was a footballer. A friend will be football tackle from behind. Tackle from behind. Or play for basa. So the governing body knew that tackling from behind was too risky. If somebody tackles from behind, let's give the person a straight red card. You see, all all these are stages which the footballing community has seen that when there is the need or when the need be, let's set rules to govern it. So has the vetting committee sat down after what happened yesterday? You see, I didn't even expect them to come and sit immediately. I was expecting them that today, right before we start the vetting, they should come out with clear-cut rules. Each candidate cannot exceed, let's say, 2 hours. Each candidate cannot exceed this period of time. That way, you cannot have one candidate having a banter with somebody back and forth. I started with Samjata. Let me go into the nitty-gritties of the vetting of Samjata. So, this is a vetting of the Communication, Digitalization and Innovation Minister Designate, Samuel Nate Church. He spent 5 hours, 2 minutes. And Channel 1 has been good enough to furnish us with the breakdown of how he spent his 5 hours, 2 minutes in Parliament. Okay. So the questions which were asked by the minority was 23 questions from the minority. That is from the majority, 23 questions from the majority. Right. The minority asked 218 questions. Put the 218 questions together with the 23 questions together. I think we are going to get about 245 or so. Let's see if the math tallies. So 23 questions from the minority side and 218 questions from the majority side. That is 241 questions being asked yesterday to just one candidate. No problem. It is good because we are scrutinizing this person to know if indeed he can do the job. Okay, let me go down into the breakdown. 2% of these questions were asked for him to give assurance. Honorable nominee, can you give us the assurance that when you come into power, you are going to do this? 2% of the questions, of the 241 questions, was still to show. 2% of the questions were for manifesto promises which was made by the NDC, answering questions on manifesto questions which were brought up by the NDC during the campaign time. Comments or amendments into his input, 1%. Okay. Current issues, 11%. On his CV, 15%. His personal lifestyle, 18%. Now, this is where I have a problem with. 51% of the questions which were posed to Samjata were questions about past statements he has made. Let's ask the question of what is the modus operandi of the vetting committee? What have they been stipulated to be in Parliament to do? Their name is a vetting committee. They are supposed to vet candidates based on what they are going to offer the Ghanaian populace. But you spend 51% of your questions about past statements Samjata has made. Are you on a witch hunting exercise? This is a vetting committee. Go straight to the issues. And it is so unfortunate that the issues which he spoke about had a minimal percentage and a whooping 51% are questions which are past statements when you are a vetting committee. So were you vetting as past statement? Are you doing the Ghanaian citizens a service or a disservice? What legacy are we leaving? Then let's go into the top issues. The top issues which came up during Samjata's vetting. One was anti-LGBTQ plus bill and his issue with Chief Justice. TNU, anti-LGBTQ bill and his issue with Chief Justice. We have a Minister of Communication, Digitalization, whatever before us. And the top of our priority, anti-LGBTQ bill. Okay, let's move. Number 2, and this is what it vex me, sir. The number 2 be questions on Akufo-Addo the Bawumia government. Like, who does that? We will come into the Samjata vetting proper. Yeah. Then that one we go break these fears up. Yeah. So on this one, I just give a highlight on that. Number 3, Galamsey.
Ha.
Number 3, Galamsey. Number 4, cybersecurity. So cybersecurity, okay. I think it's in the right jurisdiction to ask these questions. Number 5, AI. Okay. For a Minister of Communication and Digitalization, AI is also great. All right. Let me move down. This thing you hear yourself, your head, utibe boom. See, now we are going to move to most questions asked by individuals. Out of the 241 questions, so this time they can't do some math. Out of the 241 questions, one person asked 196 questions. One person. I think you're marking. Just one person. No. The whole vetting committee, they asked 241 questions. Then one person per tap. Then asked 196 questions of the minority. So you take the 196 out of the 241. You are left with 45 questions. The entire panel, they asked 45 questions. The entire panel. They asked 45 questions. So you see, now, just opposing this with the whole Okujato Ablakwa issue. So if you sit and you ask 241 questions, unnecessary questions, let me qualify the questions they were asking. Unnecessary because 51 of them are questions on past statements made by the candidate. But we know that this is a vetting committee and this is not a witch hunting exercise. So if you spend 51% of your questions on somebody, his past statements that he has made, what does that make you as a committee? And I am so much disappointed in the chairman of the committee. I would not sugarcoat this. I'm so much disappointed because the chairman of every committee has the audacity, the power, everything to moderate how the proceedings go. So if as a chairman of a committee, you sit for a candidate to be vetted for 5 hours and 2 minutes, and all the questions or majority of the questions which are being asked are unnecessary questions, then you as a chairman, you have failed.
So Awuchi, when Afenyo Markins was asking those questions, where was the chairman? No, not webinar, not money. These are questions over 100 questions.
So that is the reason why I said I am so much disappointed in the chairman. I am so much disappointed in the chairman. So this is one of the reasons why. So they spent all these hours on Samjata, and when Okujato Ablakwa was supposed to come in, they claimed they were tired. All right, fast forward. Your movie. Let's move from they were tired. So if you are tired, what is the next process? There is something we call rule of law. The legislature, which is made up of our parliament, there are 3 arms of government. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature. Each one of these has their own rules, which has been stipulated by the constitution, or which the constitution has enshrined on them to undertake. The jurisdiction of the legislature is to ensure that they make bills which are going to be passed and eventually be called laws. So these are the people who go to parliament to make laws. And it is so unfortunate that the people who have criminalized violence are the people who are undertaking violence. So I come to the question of the rule of the law. In the rule of the law, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature serves as checks and balance for any arm of government. So my question now would be, what is the judiciary going to do about this? What is the executive going to do about this? I am very keen and watching with keen eyes on what the executive and the judiciary will do about this. Because yesterday, state properties were vandalized. Yesterday, the ordinary Ghanaian, the civilian who believed in the rule of law, and decided to leave their work, to leave their tight schedule, to go and join long queues, to spend hours to vote for our leaders, was insulted, because the leaders told us yesterday point blank that we are foolish for making them legislature. The leaders told us yesterday in parliament through their act that we are silly for electing them as parliamentarians, because yesterday, before the whole incident started, it is on record and there are videos to prove to this, that Honorable Anodompre stated that they should take off tables. And you see, this morning I have seen a flyer or something circulating around from the minority chief whip, Honorable Jerry, and he is stating that a majority member pushed the table towards him. So it was his adrenaline which was acting. Killer, there are videos. Many have. There are videos. We have seen videos. And he, Honorable Jerry, was lifting a table. Or a table. Or put table, no? This morning, we woke up and I saw on GH1 a post they had made on, I think it was on Twitter, that the whole auditorium, the microphone, the tables, the stationery, everything which has been vandalized has been put back in good shape. So the place is ready for the vetting. I do not know if Honorable Ablakwa's interview, which is currently going on, is in the same auditorium. But I am sure after this video, we are going to make our checks, because we have been video researching on this. So I just chanced on this when we were walking in. So it means in less than 24 hours, this has been fixed. Trust me, Nanebwa, this is not going to come out of the pocket of these parliamentarians. It is not going to come out of the pocket of Honorable Anodompre. It is not going to come out of the pocket of Afenyo Makin, who wasted the Ghanaian people's time, who wasted Samjata's time, asking about 190-something questions to Samjata, and now telling us that he was tired and cannot carry on with the vetting of Okujeto Ablakwa. No, it is not going to come out of his pocket. It is not going to come out of the pocket of Jerry, who is the MP for Weja North or Weja something, who clearly was seen on video lifting and vandalizing tables. At a point in time, I was told that from somebody who was watching TV that an MP hurriedly went to tear a cable. What thick cable?
Idi agrada.
I didn't know we in the parliament no. I say a road rush. I say, yeah, like killer. You see, so when Madam Castle, I don't know if I got the name right, when he described Anodompre as silly, people did not understand. People came out to say she should retract and apologize, including Honorable Haruna Idrisi. But when you go on the media right now, when you go on X, when you go on any social media platform, what everybody they talk be say, the silly word she used give him yesterday, Anodompre really justify the reason why she called him silly. And it is unfortunate. You see, some years ago, same thing happened in Parliament. When Parliament was being inaugurated, Obi could hear ballot box in Ghana. Obi say papers. What? Or Jimmy said your sebi. As we you join. Or they said no more.
Carlos. Yeah, Carlos.
So you Roberto Carlos was where they will be or Bushwalk. And the question is, what happened afterwards? You see, there is something we call precedence. And when there is always precedence, and you don't take measures to ensure that subsequently people are not going to do the same, you would keep on having a reoccurrence of certain things. And when Carlos Ahinkra did that, when all these people did that, what happened to them? What was the laid down rules which would deter people from doing same in the near future? And that is why we are here. That is the reason why the whole world would watch yesterday, and Ghana's parliamentarians would fight like agenda boys. The next person I am so much disappointed in, Dampare. The IGP. I am so much disappointed in him. Somebody would ask, why am I disappointed in Dampare? Dampare wasn't in parliament. So why am I apportioning blame to Dampare? You see, the reason why I'm apportioning blame to Dampare is that we all saw that there were policemen in the auditorium. So the question is, what role is the police people supposed to play in the parliament when the vetting is going on? That is the question number one. Are they there just for visibility, for people to know that there is a presence of police or there is a presence of security, or they are there to work? All the videos we have watched, I can tell you there was one video when Jerry and Anodompre were vandalizing items, and there was a policeman who was just standing by them. Handcuff him. Is he above the law? If me, I go to parliament right now and I go to vandalize the items there, would I not be handcuffed? Would I not be arrested? Is Jerry, is Anodompre, is Afenyo Markin, and all those people who have stood there for the state property, the microphones, and all those things to be vandalized, are they above the law? Why don't you arrest them? You see, in the past, some few months ago, some few years ago, we were here when unarmed civilians realized that the country was not going how we wanted to. So unarmed civilians who were so much interested in Ghana being the Ghana we want, civilians who listened to the speech of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the then president, who chanted and who awakened the spirit in every Ghanaian citizen that indeed we are supposed to be citizens and not spectators. When he aroused this in us, when he aroused the Martin Luther King in us, when he aroused the patriotism in us, that we should be citizens and not spectators, when these Ghanaians who heeded to the advice of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when they walked onto the streets to protest, and this was a peaceful protest, when they walked out there to say that indeed we have to fix our country, indeed we have to fix Mother Ghana because Mother Ghana is bleeding, these unarmed civilians were arrested, they were handcuffed, they were put behind bars. When Ralph one day gathered a group of people and they went to the National Cathedral, which was being built with the taxpayers' money, and they took off the roof which was used to cover the National Cathedral project, these people were being stated that they have caused harm to state property. Something which was being built with my money, something which was being built with your money, and they disclosed the I don't know how to put it. They disclosed whatever was going on there. When they disclosed the harm, the then NPP government, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Mahmoud Bawumia, what they had told us, so it was what you ordered and what you got. When they disclosed to us, these people were put behind bars for causing harm to state properties. But the police can stand there and watch. They watch on for parliamentarians to vandalize microphones, to vandalize tables, to vandalize chairs, to vandalize speakers, to tear cables. None of them is an electrician, but wakwati cable. None of them is a repairer, but ono na wanya repairer no, ono no or tete nyoma or tete wire said wakikabom. This is the level of harm, and the police watches on. At the point that you picture be or ma picture one of the tables at parliament. Policeman the animal. You see, what be unhealthy and uncouth. Say me you know ha. But come to think of it, policeman the animal. Hey, where have you got into as a country? And you as a policeman, you stand there. No more parliamentarians natural. Say they should calm down.
Police for no partial.
You see, I'm not for court demonstration. Near too hot water go almost. I'm not for court demonstration. Now you the tear gas there about the Let me tell you something which happened on 9th of December. On 9th of December, me, as I sit here, I was beaten at the RCC in Kumasi by military men. They beat me as though I was a thief. Do you know what I did? Do you know the crime they say I committed? If said, I'm here tactician, I'm here tactics, you want to say my passing out, that day they would have killed me there. And I can tell you this for a fact. I heard one military man tell the other people, let's waste him. What is the meaning of when somebody tell you, let's waste him? This is what the military said. And this, whatever I would be called, I would be able to defend this because my crime was Yadru Onum. And your call RCC one no, I was with the regional minister, but at the time we were using different cars. And the regional minister no American to Omoka. Okay, that time now Oye General Secretary, NDC General Secretary, Dr. Frank Amwakohine. Your call, that is when some constituencies were no more resources no AUC. So we were following up with the EC. Your call, I can tell you, say the place was armed like I said, your call. I think on one of our trend digest issues, mechanism, it was as if there was war about to strike the RCC. And when I saw that, I was the media person on Dr. Frank Amwakohine's team, or the NDC's team at the time. So I record everything on wherever I go, wherever I have to make a report. So I took my phone out and I recorded a video of the military presence. Listen, you don't say then they do something bad. Then my presence on the site alone, then they the war before the RCC. And anybody who calls me, I would be there to defend this, because that day they beat me as though I was a thief. They slapped Dr. Mwakohine's driver, Eben. They almost beat Wags because Wagsy was the target. They wanted to beat us to death. And when I faked that I have passed out, they were still stamping on me. They were still hitting me with the bat of gun. And their reason, when I intentionally pretended I had passed out, and Wagsy pushed them with one other guy, Matthew and Eben, and when they were taking me into the car, one military person, I heard him loud and clear. He said the guy is lying. He's clearly pretending. Let's waste him. Let's finish him. These were the words of the military. And if as a civilian, I only make a video of the presence of military, these people would beat me as though I was a thief. Then your parliamentarians, the NPP people, then their parliament, then they vandalized it. This is the party we were made to believe that it is a party of intellectuals. Come on, we should condemn this. This is ridiculous. This is insanity of the highest order. And this is silly and more than silly. If there is a word beyond silly, we should find it for me and I'll use it. We put our trust in you that go to parliament and take decisions on our behalf. And what you can do is you are vandalizing state properties, which is going to come at my detriment again, because you use the state money to do it. And the state money is my taxes. This is what the NPP is doing in parliament. This is what the party of intellectuals we have been made to do is doing in parliament. This is the party of we have the men. The men they have are people who are fighting. The men they have, or the men we have, are people who are going to clearly disregard the rule of law. The men we have are people who are going to boldly vandalize state items, and they think they are above the law and they cannot be questioned. And you see, the next thing I would be expecting Honorable Okujeto Ablokwa to do after his vetting is to subject these people to ORA, because they have caused financial loss to the state. If Honorable Okujeto Ablokwa does not subject these parliamentarians to ORA, I'll be disappointed in him in the highest order. If he does not subject these people to ORA, then he will be one waste of a minister, because he is there to question people who are causing financial loss to the state, or who have caused financial loss to the state. And this is clearly not out of their jurisdiction. Martin Kpebu should take this on. COP Kofi Boachi, who is there, they should take this on. If they let this slide, then it means Ghana is never going to progress, because our parliamentarians and the people who are supposed to spearhead our affairs, they are neglecting their duties, and they are rather causing us loss. This is the rage I have this morning. This is the rage of the ordinary Ghanaian who cannot come on Trend Digest to talk about these things. And this is what the people for the WhatsApp group they talk about. Say when an MPP parliamentarians, this is what them go parliament say, then they go do. This is what them go there say, then they go do. And if they don't openly apologize to every Ghanaian citizen, but they rather go on political lines and play politics with us, then indeed they would keep on insulting us for the second time. And when they insult us for the second time, if ORA doesn't take them on, then it means the ORA make His Excellency John Mahama dissolve them. Because this is a clear case which ORA has to take them on. The new Chief Justice has to take them on, because they are not above the law. And the Parliament Select Committee or the Privileges Committee, if, what would be the name of the Speaker of Parliament say? If Alan Babin, right? Alban, if Alban Babin doesn't take them on, he too, we will come on now. Because this thing not they make sense. So you see, I am fumbling with words. I am struggling to find the right words to describe it. These people have to be made to face the full rigors of the law, and that is how we are going to build a sustainable system. That is how next time people will think. Now, Nana, my last words before I finalize on this. During the NPP regime, when they were in office, there was one minister who went to the vetting committee. Her name, Hawa Kumsin. We saw how abysmal she performed. Eventually, they still passed her to be a minister. No problem. My question is, has there ever been a time where a president has named an appointee and these vetting committee members have ever rejected? Even if they reject, it will still go back to parliament for a normal, or it will still go back to the president to approve or disapprove. So there's something with the Ghana will live inside for 60-something years. It has never happened. So if you don't agree, sometimes you agree to disagree. There have been so many instances where when the NDC was minority, they walked out of parliament. There have been so many instances when MPP has minority, they have walked out of parliament. So what prevented them from walking out of the premises and not vandalizing items? Just to show their displeasure for what was happening. We would have understood them. Ghanaians would have come, as we sit here on Trend Digest, maybe we would have been sympathizing with them that indeed they were stressed. They went beyond the normal time. So they shouldn't have been subjected to that trauma or that stress or whatever. But you, instead of walking out majestically or instead of walking out without destroying anything, you decide to the Lord lay your palm inside. So you go spoil them. If Alban no take charge of this, if Dampari no take charge of this, if Ora, Okujeto Ablakwa, if they no take charge of this, I'll be extremely disappointed in all these people. And I'll lose complete faith in most of these people.
So this is what we have for you on today's episode of Trend Digest, which I hate it too much, but when you have to watch no, I'm sure the people in charge will. I mean, there are issues like this which they don't even talk about. They don't pay the necessary attention to it. But we are hoping this time around it's going to be different because we have some different people in some places now. So we hope they will actually take charge and do what they're supposed to do for us. So this is where we end today's episode of Trend Digest. My name is Nanebo, of course, with Double H at the back, and I was here with Awuchi. We are signing out. Peace.